So episode 2 of The Mandalorian is now out on Disney Plus, and if you haven't been watching this series by now, I highly recommend you check it out. It is without a doubt my favorite piece of Star Wars content produced by Disney out there. Even though there's not a lot of things going on in this TV series, there is something about being in that world again, like a proper expansion of how this world works in Star Wars, and Dave Filoni does a really good job with this series. And from watching The Mandalorian, I would say Star Wars will survive even better as a TV show. So there will be spoilers in this video, so be wary of that. And with that out of the way, so The Mandalorian now has this child, which is like a baby Yoda, I'm going to call it. It's not actually Yoda, it's just of that species. And as I predicted, it's going to be a force-sensitive creature. So The Mandalorian is returning to his ship and he sees a lot of Jawas stripping it apart. Tries to stop him, and we get this awesome scene of him trying to get inside the thing before getting knocked off. What I really liked about this episode, besides the most obvious thing at the very end, was the Jawas. The Jawas were expanded upon a lot. They just seem like more of people at this point, and how they were designed is really, really cool. But basically, the Mandalorian goes and finds that old man from the first episode, and he suggests that you trade the Jawas instead of trying to steal your stuff back, because there's no way you're going to be successful at that. They got that traveling fortress. I think they called it a crawler, but the Jawas want an egg from this rhinoceros creature or something like that. And that's near the end of the episode at this point, where the Mandalorian is basically, he's like being tossed around by this creature. He's like pulls out a pocket knife, he's holding it with both arms, and he's like, well, this is it. If this doesn't work, I'm out of options. And that's when the baby Yoda uses force power to lift up the rhinoceros, giving the Mandalorian enough time to take it out. And this is a point I want to make because it was always done this way. Whenever you're using your force powers to lift a heavy object, it does actually have physical strain on whoever's trying to lift it. Yoda in the prequels and in the originals, whenever he's lifting heavy objects, there is physical strain. You could say it's mental strain, but there is strain in general. So when this baby Yoda is lifting up a several ton rhinoceros, he is struggling to even stay conscious. And they make a point later on that it was very mentally taxing for the child. And of course, the Mandalorian has no idea what force powers even are. But let's take a step back towards episode 8, or Last Jedi, and we can see that at the very end of that movie, Rey is lifting several tons of rocks in order for the rebels to escape. And she's doing it with bewilderment or wonderment. She's just looking around like, what is happening? There is no struggle with her. So that one's not as believable as the Yoda thing, and I'd much rather have it be represented as it is in Mandalorian whenever you're using force powers. But that's basically the end of the episode at that point. As I said, it's not like a high burn kind of show. You're really following a sort of Western approach. But for those of you that like the originals, this will probably sit well with you. But for those of you that like the worst parts of Last Jedi, you're probably not going to like The Mandalorian as much. But that's basically it for this video. I do have some reservations about Mandalorian. I'm hoping that it stays this good because it's the best, as I said, the best Star Wars thing Disney has ever made. Introducing a Yoda that has force powers, or a baby Yoda, whatever it is a really cool and interesting idea. And I've seen a lot of people complain about Mandalorian because of the CGI. Now, I'm just one of those people that doesn't see the problem with CGI as much as others. The CGI in Mandalorian is totally fine. It's not like you're watching the prequels where it very clearly stands out. The Mandalorian does it well, and that's really all I need in order to be entertained. But all in all, I'd highly recommend you watch The Mandalorian. Give it a chance. I know there's a 7-day free trial on Disney Plus, so what you could do is wait for the series to end, then binge watch it in those 7 days, and then just cancel. But if you have been watching Mandalorian, what do you think about it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you think is going to happen for the entirety of the season? What's going to happen next episode? Whatever your thoughts, post them in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.